I'm about to tell you 507 facts about the amazing world of Gumball. So whether you're completely new to the show, or you've been watching for years, I guarantee you'll learn something new in this video. So sit back and grab your popcorn because this is gonna be a long one. In early development, the show was pitched under the name Gumball and Darwin before settling on the amazing world of Gumball. Ben Boclet, the creator of the amazing world of Gumball's favorite character is Sussy, and this might be because the face is portrayed by his girlfriend Arlie Charbonnier. In Japan, Gumball is voiced by Junko Takuchi, who is also the voice of Naruto. And what's funny is that she also voices Mr. Beast's Japanese dub for his videos. That means the same actress plays Gumball, Naruto, and Mr. Beast. That's insane work. A lot of the characters in the show were rejected advertising mascots from Ben Boclet's portfolio. I guess one man's trash is another man's treasure. Gumball takes more time to create than your average cartoon because of its mix of 2D animation, 3D animation, and so much more. This is why the time between episodes can be anywhere from 3 weeks to a few months. Darwin is registered as a pet fish instead of a student at school. Does this mean he gets a different degree? In Richard's early concept designs, he was a blue dog, which is hard to imagine because he makes such a cute rabbit. Gumball has gone through several transformations during development. Originally, he was also supposed to be a blue dog like Richard, and then he got switched to an unlucky black cat. And then for his final design, he became the blue cat we all know and love. Richard, Anais, and Nicole are based off the personalities of Ben Boclet's own family members. And Gumball is heavily inspired off how Ben Boclet acted as a kid. Bro must have been doing some crazy things. Principal Brown and Miss Simeon are in a relationship. This is supported by the episode The Sock, The Lesson, and The Burden. The episode The Sweaters is a parody of the movie Karate Kid. Ben Boclet didn't think the amazing world of Gumball would be successful, but it's gone on to win several awards internationally. The word nipples has been said on the show multiple times, despite its TV Y7 rating. Adventure Time has a more mature rating of TV PG, and they still can't say it. The movie Alligators on a Train in the Gumball universe is a reference to the real movie Snakes on a Plane. It's been revealed that Gumball was originally just a nickname. His real name is Zach, but it caused him to create a terrible alter ego in the episode The Name, so they legally changed it back to Gumball. Gumball's middle name was supposed to be Christopher, but his dad Richard somehow confused it for Tristopher. In the pilot episode of the show, Gumball was voiced by Nicky Jones, who was also the voice actor for Chowder. When Gumball got greenlit and became a show, he got replaced by Logan Grove from the beginning of season 1 all the way to the season 3 episode The Kids. Jacob Hopkins then took over the voice of Gumball from The Kids all the way to the season 5 episode 11 episode The Copycats. And then Nicholas Cantu took over the voice from The Copycats all the way to current day Gumball. All of the voice actors were switched out and had to be replaced because the voice actors for these characters kept going through puberty, and their voices kept changing, which made them get replaced because their voices became too deep. Although Nicholas Cantu is the most recent voice of Gumball, he was played by Duke Cutler in the Gumball Chronicles, which is a spin-off of the show, which makes me think that either Duke will keep voicing him or his voice will get replaced once again. Darwin has a very similar story with his voice being changed. He was played by Jake Pratt in the pilot episode, Kwesi Bache played him from the beginning of season 1 all the way to the episode The Kids, and then Terrell Ransom Jr. took over from The Kids to The Copycats. After The Copycats, Darwin's voice was replaced by Donnell Hansley Jr., and then his voice got switched again in the season 6 episode The Anybody. Christian J. Simon has been doing Darwin's voice ever since then. Despite his vocal talent and ability to sing really good songs in the show, Gumball is somehow failing music class. Darwin was originally designed for a show about mythological creatures hidden in a kid's backyard. That show was never made, but Boclet liked the design so much that he put him in the amazing world of Gumball. Gumball and Darwin are the only characters to appear in almost every episode. I say almost because there's a few where Darwin hasn't appeared, and there's one episode where Gumball hasn't appeared. Darwin's name is a reference to Charles Darwin, who's famous for his theory of evolution, and this is represented by the Darwin fish symbol. Darwin was originally going to be a 3D animated character, but this was scrapped due to various difficulties. Darwin was inspired by Ben's childhood friend, Paul. And Darwin can even break glass with his high-pitched screams. Darwin has the longest name out of any character in the show. In the episode The Party, his full name is Darwin Raglan Caspin Ahab Poseidon Nicodemus Watterson III. However, this might not just be a bunch of random names all thrown together. Raglan could reference either a naval ship from World War I, or Raglan, a town in New Zealand known for its surf culture and dolphins. Ahab is likely a reference to Captain Ahab, a character who is obsessed with hunting the white whale. Poseidon could be a reference to the Greek god of the sea. And lastly, Nicodemus could reference Nicodemus the Hagorite, an 18th century saint known for his writings and spiritual contributions, as well as his deep love for all things. This combination of names adds a layer of depth to Darwin's character, potentially reflecting a mix of history, literacy, and mythological references. Nicole Watterson is implied to be the strongest character on the show. She can easily defeat Mr. Rex and literally transform into anime form. Nicole has actually been arrested multiple times. 2 charges include robbing a store with a hot dog and stealing her own car. Richard cannot hold a job, or else the universe will literally be destroyed. Richard is responsible for his family's financial trouble, because he often spends their money on the most stupidest things imaginable, or he literally just throws it away. Despite wearing a peanut shell, Penny is actually allergic to peanuts. The show had Gumball in the name before the main character was even created. Ben Bucklett is allergic to cats, so it's a little strange he made a whole show based off one. In the episode The Ghost, the possessed version of Gumball is a reference to the detox hallucination baby from the film Trainspotting. Miss Simeon has been teaching since the Stone Age. That's 300,000 years. Miss Simeon's first name is Lucy, which is a reference to the first hominid to walk upright. Every episode has "the" in the title, except for the 2 holiday episodes, titled Halloween and Christmas. In season 2, Rocky's Biss You shirt is a reference to the band Kiss. This is because Biss You means kiss in French. Gumball is Cartoon Network UK's first original series. Ben Bucklett voices Sussie's wailing, screaming, and laughter. In the episode The Shell, Penny comes out of her shell, revealing that she's a fairy-like shapeshifter who can change form based on her emotions, and she no longer lives in her shell after this episode. Penny's Medusa form is cut from episodes in certain countries. In The Origins, the Robinson house was originally painted dark green. However, in The Choices, the house was painted purple before the Wattersons moved in. The episode The Shell was largely inspired by Hayao Miyazaki. When Penny morphs into a dragon, it's a reference to Haku and his dragon from Spirited Away. The front doors of Elmore Junior High matches the colors of the Watterson children. The game Dodge or Dare that Gumball and Darwin made up is the most dangerous board game ever created. The live-action pictures of the school are from Abraham Lincoln High School in San Francisco. The Victorian-style homes in the town resemble houses from Vallejo, California, and actually most of Elmore is inspired by Vallejo, California, and this location has been confirmed to be Elmore in real life. The Amazing World of Gumball was originally going to be about a remedial school for rejected cartoon characters. The 3-eyed smiley face on Miss Simeon's door is a reference to the 2001 film Evolution. Despite being 10 years old, Darwin is a 7th grader just like Gumball. There's a club at Elmore Junior High called the Rejects Club. I guess that's one way to make sure everyone has a place to fit in. Nicole, Richard, and other adults in the show went to the same school that their kids currently attend. Elmore is geographically surrounded by large bodies of water that require a large bridge to cross. And Elmore also has a second dimension known as the Void, where all of its mistakes end up going. Mr. Small's first name is Steve, and this name came from his own character designer. Mr. Small's appearances are usually preceded by the strum of a sitar. The Robinsons were inspired by the Muppets. Though they resemble real puppets, don't be fooled because they're actually animated in CGI. Tina's design is inspired by the T-Rexes from King Kong and Jurassic Park. Carrie's 3D anaglyph outline is a reference to the old B-horror movies that were occasionally in 3D. Carrie Cougar's name is a reference to 2 famous horror movie icons, Carrie and Freddy Cougar. Carrie was born a ghost and is the child of Vladis Legislav. Carrie's reflection doesn't show up in mirrors, but if she possesses someone, her reflection will replace the person that she's possessing. Carrie was possessed by the jealousy spirit in the episode The Flower, which means that a ghost can be possessed by another spirit. Richard is a pacifist, while Nicole is a fighter. Carrie's early design looks like a Boo from Mario. Richard is super lazy because his mom sheltered him and babied him as a kid. Her overprotective nature is the product of Richard's father leaving him when he was just a kid. Hector's name uses the prefix hecto, the factor of 100. His last name is a reference to the Norse word Jotunheimer, the homeland of giants. Tobias can change colors at will, and his mom and sister also have headbands just like him. Tobias is named after one of the show's writers, Toby Wilson. Mrs. Yodathum was inspired by Yubba from Spirited Away. Their designs are similar, and they both have giant, potentially destructive suns. The evil turtle's death is a reference to Ben Bucklet's own pet turtle dying of dehydration. The donut cop actually has a craving to eat donuts, despite being a donut. Wait, isn't that technically cannibalism? Alan and Carmen like each other and are going out, but their love can never be, because he's a balloon and Carmen is a cactus. If you do the math, something's gonna pop. After Rob escaped the void, his design was altered to be much more low res. His head is polygonal and his face occasionally turns to static, and one of his feet are a wireframe. In The Nobody, Rob swears vengeance on Gumball and Darwin after they ignored him in the void, becoming their arch nemesis for future episodes. It's implied that Idaho's family is actually based on the Amish. In the episode The Finale, it's revealed that Larry has taken on a multitude of jobs to pay for the damages that were caused by the Watersons. No wonder he doesn't like them. Larry works at Laser Video, Elmore gas station, Food and Stuff, Joyful Burger, Shoe Store, Ripley 2000, Fervidus Pizza, Elmore Shopping, and also is an accountant, ice cream vendor, pest control, and a repairman. If Larry ever stops working, the entire economic structure of Elmore would collapse. In The Banana, it's revealed that Banana Joe's eyes and mouth can be removed and stuck back on, so he has a whole closet of spares. The population of Elmore is a modest 20,000 people, suggesting that it's a somewhat large town or small city in the USA. This is odd though, given the presence of high-rise office towers in Elmore, which are usually only in major cities. Banana Joe's personality and appearance are inspired by the term top banana. Gumball looks like Nicole, but behaves like Richard, while Anais looks like Richard and has a similar personality to Nicole. The inspiration for Anais is Ben's own sister Anais, who was a computer programmer in real life. Anais is one of the more mature and intelligent members of her family. She even makes Gumball and Darwin breakfast in the morning. The live-action location shots that are used in the show are filmed mainly in California, New York, and the UK. Ben cites Who Framed Roger Rabbit as an inspiration for the mixed media approach to the show. Gumball and Darwin's Make the Most of It rap sneaks in a subtle reference to Brad Neely's famous George Washington rap. The show's executive producer Daniel Leonard considers The Amazing World of Gumball the ultimate boys show.
Just need some mozzarella. There.
Much of the 3D rendering work on Gumball is done at Studio Soy, an animation studio in Ludwigsburg, Germany. Other 2D and 3D animation work not completed at Studio Soy is completed by Boulder Media, an animation company based in Dublin, Ireland. Gumball is produced as a storyboard-driven show, meaning that its storyboard artists don't work from a script, but rather a loose story outline. And this is what Ben attributes the spontaneity of the show to. Gumball's classmate, William, the Flying Eye, is not only a tattletale snitch, but he even resembles a golden snitch from the Harry Potter series. The character Neckbeard bears a uncanny resemblance to Pikachu from Pokemon. The official Gumball comics, published by Boom Studios, ran for a total of 8 issues before cancellations. The G is the first Gumball episode where Darwin is seen wearing pants. Carlton, Troy, Santa Claus, Mr. Kreese, and Superintendent Evil are the only human characters to appear in the show. Originally, Troy, Carlton, and Mr. Kreese were going to be animals. Troy was a bird, Carlton was a dog, and Mr. Kreese was a beaver. Despite being a suburban neighborhood, Elmore has its own airline, which is renowned for its lack of legroom. Gumball is admitted to being to the hospital way more times than any other character in the series. Gumball, Darwin, Tina, and Penny are all playable playable characters in the Cartoon Network MMO, Project Exonaut. There are over 50 original songs sung throughout the Gumball series. Sussy, her parents, the Butterfly, and Superintendent Evil are the only characters in Gumball that utilize live-action characters. Darwin is revealed to be allergic to feathers in the episode The Allergy, as we see in The Origins. Gumball has had countless other orange fish named Darwin that he owned before Darwin. The name Gumball was chosen as the title of the show because Ben Bucklett wanted to call it something that would remind people of their childhood, so he named it after something that every child might have in their pocket. Ben Bucklett worked hard as a development artist for Cartoon Network. When he was asked by the VP of Development to pitch some cartoon ideas, at the time he had pitched Gumball, as well as another show involving cryptozoology. What the heck is that, you ask? It's the study of evidence that proves the formerly unproven existence of the Loch Ness Monster or the Abominable Snowman. It took 9 months from when the show was originally pitched to when it was greenlit, mostly because the original concept was rejected. Ben based the show off a family sitcom, but replaced normal human characters with nonsensical creatures. Many gags and storylines in the show are loosely based off real instances that occurred in Ben's family. Ben attributes the success of the show to the authenticity that comes with basing the show on real life. He has also always desired wanting to make a show with a mixed media format, because he believes it's what makes the show so distinctive. Art director Anton Perez helped create the mixed media design with ease by using his own method in designing the show's background. Antone even used VFX tactics to incorporate the different types of media in the show. The reasons the background in the show are realistic is because Ben wants to portray Elmore as a place that actually exists in the real world. As we already know, the Wattersons' house and the Robinsons' house were both filmed on location in Vallejo, California. This area was particularly chosen because of its 50s, 60s style architecture that you'd probably expect in a family sitcom. To find out which jokes were featured in the show, pretty much the entire writing staff has to laugh at a joke unanimously. Therefore, some jokes were written fast, and others were more labor intensive. The Wattersons' last name is a reference to Bill Watterson, the creator of Kelvin and Hobbes. The Robinsons' house address in real life is 1022 York Street, Vallejo, California. The show was originally meant to end after season 3, but due to fan support and critical acclaim, it was extended. Terry, the paper bear, is one of the few characters animated to look like a literal paper cutout to reflect her germophobic and delicate personality. Despite being a dinosaur, Tina Rex is one of the most emotionally vulnerable characters, often shown crying or needing reassurance. Carrie has a band called the Safety Coffins, a reference to old burial devices that would let you alert someone if you're buried alive. Mrs. Robinson and Barbara Banana are some of the only characters to never speak in the show. Despite Elmore Junior High supposedly being the local school, the Wattersons have to drive through a busy expressway just to get there. The show has parodied countless genres, including horror, anime, courtroom dramas, musical, and sci-fi, all in the same season. The sales agreement Jeff signs in The Sale reveals the Robinson home to be 1,530 square feet. This is much smaller than its real-world counterpart, which is 2,310 square feet. There are many shows who have tried to copy the amazing world of Gumball, one of which being Miracle Star, which is a cheap Chinese knockoff of Gumball. But instead of taking the boring approach and suing them, Cartoon Network decided to clap back at Miracle Star by making their own episode called The Copycats to make fun of the show. And in Gumball's version, they used their own original character versions of the Miracle Star copycats, naming them Chi-Chi and Ribbit. Another show that closely resembles Gumball and has even been accused of copying it is Pinky Malenky, which seems to be mostly original but has a lot of similar elements to Gumball. The show's sound designer uses household items like plastic cups and bubble wrap for many of the sound effects. The writer's room intentionally blocked how often they use certain recurring jokes to avoid burnout, like the use of fourth wall breaks. In The Origins, the Robinson house was sold to the Robinsons, but in The Heart, while showing a flashback when the Watterson family moved next door, Mr. Robinson is shown to already be moved in, which is a pretty big plot hole. Nicole's maiden name is Senicourt, which is subtly referenced on the paperwork in The Choices. Despite being a minor character, Carmen the Cactus has a complex personality and is sometimes shown being manipulative. The character Clayton is made of literal clay and has different animation styles depending on his mood in different episodes. The house that Larry lives in is based on 918 Capitol Street, Vallejo, California. The Wattersons TV often plays generic stock footage language. This heavily contrasts the madness of the rest of the show. Some of the background characters are animated using recycled rigs from earlier versions of characters. Darwin's singing voice is done by different actors than his speaking voice in certain musical numbers. Some of the locations in the show, like Elmore Mall or Laser Video, are photo-scanned real-world locations. Miss Simeon's original concept art depicted her as a hunched-over librarian with a gothic look. Gumball has impersonated nearly every main character at some point, with his body often morphing in different weird ways to mock the character. The swimming pool area in Elmore Junior High closely resembles the gym, which suggests that they may be located in the same place. But this is contradicted in the club, where both the pool and gym area are shown. In the remote, the Wattersons reenact Lord of the Flies in their battle for TV dominance. Darwin sometimes refers to Gumball as Dude more than by his name, showing their casual friendship. Leslie the Flower was initially designed to be a female character, but this was changed last minute. The show has a subtle rule. If it would happen in a sitcom, it must happen more chaotically in Elmore. Tobias and Rachel are so far the only characters, along with their family, known to live on the outskirts of Elmore, as shown in the third and the party, though this may have been contradicted in Christmas, as the Wilsons are shown to be living on the same street as the Wattersons. In The Disaster, time rewinds multiple times, referencing Groundhog Day and possibly Run Lola Run. The character Ocho is based on 8-bit sprite art, and has glitch powers as a result. The episode The Gripes pokes fun at online comment sections and toxic fandom culture. There's a running theory that Rob is the only character aware of being in a cartoon, and this is supported by his arc in later seasons. Mr. Small's obsession with crystals is a parody of New Age pseudoscience culture. The phrase "the amazing world of" was added later in development to help market the show internationally. The animators often used real textures, like fabric scans and paper, to add depth to characters and environments. To maintain consistency, a custom software was developed to help manage the integration of various animation styles. The character designs intentionally break traditional animation rules, allowing for more expressive and exaggerated movements. The production team used a color script for each episode to ensure emotional consistency throughout the scenes. The boys' bathroom sign changes colors in different episodes. Banana Joe's personality was based off of the classic slapstick comedy from the 1920s. The show's visual style evolves subtly over the seasons to reflect the character's growth in the passage of time. One of the biggest examples of this is Gumball and Darwin's designs, with them both having bold, big shadows in season 1 and more oval-shaped eyes. But by season 2, their characters got a complete redesign, going for more of a light shadow and rounded edges on the characters. And by the end of season 6, the characters look way more polished. I can only imagine how they'll look in season 7. Darwin's evolution from a pet fish to a fully integrated family member in The Origins symbolizes themes of growth and acceptance. Darwin was bought out of a mysterious van when he was just a baby, and later, through his emotional bond with Gumball, he grew legs and lungs, which helped him survive on land. Anais, despite being the youngest, often serves as a voice of reason, highlighting the reversal of traditional family roles. Nicole's character explores the challenges of balancing career ambitions with family responsibilities. Also, her parents had super high standards for her, with ridiculous examples such as her mom getting mad at her for having an F in gender, even though she's just a girl. And they even gave Nicole the first name Doctor, because they wanted her to be a doctor, so her full legal name is Dr. Nicole Watterson. That's insane. Richard, on the other hand, embodies the concept of eternal childhood, providing a contrast to Nicole's seriousness. The show's soundtrack blends various genres, including electronic, orchestral, and jazz, to match the show's crazy visuals. The show frequently parodies internet culture, involving memes and viral videos. Gumball has been translated into over 20 languages, expanding its global reach. They've also made merchandise including toys, clothing, and comic books. Fan art and online communities have played a significant role in the show's enduring success. And they even made an episode referencing weird fan shippings, and this episode is called The Shippening. The Amazing World of Gumball has won several awards. It received the Best Children's Children's Series Award and the Children's Choice Award in the British Academy Children's Awards in 2018. Gumball has 6 seasons. The series produced a total of 240 episodes, each averaging about 11 minutes in length. One of Gumball's voice actors, Nicholas Cantu, had their own YouTube channel at one point called Junkie Janker, but then later he ended up getting in some drama with Dream, and after that he deleted a lot of his online presence. Leslie is the only male character who is a member of the Treehouse Girls. In The Origins, it's revealed that a massive desert surrounds Elmore. Ben Baclet also voiced multiple characters himself in the show, like Banana Joe's dad and a bunch of other minor characters. Jacob Hopkins, who voiced Gumball in the later seasons, started his acting career at the age of 5. Terrell Ransom Jr., the voice of Darwin, is also known for his role on Days of Our Lives. Kayla Ray Kowaleski, who voices Anais, began her acting career with Gumball at just 9 years old. The show's voice actors often recorded their lines together, which helped them make the scene sound more natural. Logan Grove, the original voice of Gumball, transitioned into live-action roles after his time on the show. Christian J. Simon, who voices Darwin in the later seasons, also appeared in Disney Channel's Sydney to the Max. The Disaster and the Rerun form a 2-part story at the end of Season 4 to the beginning of Season 5, with the main villain Rob trying to defeat Gumball. And the episode The Choices shows a glimpse into Nicole's past, and we get to see what would happen if she got with different partners. Jacob Hopkins, who voiced Gumball in Seasons 3 through 5, often shared that he developed a unique laugh for the Gumball character. The school showering stalls have been destroyed twice in the series. The first time was in the skull, and the second time was in the voice. The internal working title from the episode The Void was The Leftovers, but they changed it due to the HBO show of the same name. In a behind-the-scenes interview, an animator revealed that Carrie's 3D ghost aura is the hardest visual effect to composite in the entire show. The word Elmore is from a surname which comes from, I'm about to pronounce this so bad, Oflinmir, which is an Old English name that is a compound of noble and famous. Nicole's anime transformation was originally supposed to have a voiceover in Japanese with subtitles, but it was eventually cut for pacing reasons. An early design of Rob shows him using an arm and a hand as a third leg. In the Portuguese dub, Richard's voice is far more serious and competent sounding, which fans say changed his character entirely. At the time of recording this video, Gumball has officially been on the air for 14 years, airing from 2011 to 2025. In The Upgrade, it's revealed that there's a large line of various Bobbert models, including New Bobbert, which is an upgraded version of Bobbert. In Miss Simeon's office, behind her is a portrait of someone who looks like a mix of Mr. Robinson and George Washington. Laser Video in the Gumball universe is a hybrid of the name Family Video and Laserdisc. Ocho's glitch powers are a visual metaphor for anxiety. His pixelation gets worse as he gets nervous or ignored. Richard's obesity is never mocked in universe. Characters insult his laziness, but not his body, which was a deliberate decision by the writers. Rob's name was first revealed after people were asking one of the show's creators, James Lamont, who the Blue Cyclops from The Party was. At first, jokingly, he responded with, "We don't speak of him," but after more asking, he gave in and revealed his name. Rob's descent into villainy parallels real-world parasocial obsession. He begins as a fan of Gumball who becomes jealous and twisted over time. Gumball has been heavily implied on various occasions throughout the series, as well as confirmed by Ben Baclet on Twitter, to be bisexual or pansexual. This is yet to be explicitly confirmed in the series, however. It's never been confirmed how long Richard and Nicole have been married, but with some clues in the show, we can make an educated guess. Gumball is 12 years old, and Nicole was already married to Richard before he was born. In the episode The Choices, we see a flashback of Nicole and Richard dating, getting married, and starting a family shortly after. Nicole was around 20 years old when she finally met Richard in college, and Nicole was around 38 to 40 years old in the present day, so assuming she married Richard at around the age of 22, they likely have been married for 16 to 18 years. The episode The Copycats was banned in China, not because of satire, but because it featured unapproved character archetypes. Right. In some international dubs, the characters' names are changed. Darwin is called Nemo in parts of Eastern Europe, which was confusing to fans. The episode The Ollie reveals that Gumball is great at skateboarding, but only when no one is watching. watching him. The series finale, The Inquisition, was mistakenly aired in Latin America, sparking conspiracy theories about the show being canceled mid-season. In Russia, the show was briefly pulled from the air due to scenes that promoted rebellion against authority. Later, this was reinstated after edits. The Night is considered the least aired episode worldwide, due to its disturbing dreamlike content and lighting effects. According to Richard in Ancestor Art, which is an episode of the Gumball Chronicles, Frankie's mom is a cockatoo. Rocky's x-ray shows that he doesn't have a skull. Instead, he just has a hand where his skull should be. This is a joke based off him being a puppet. Gumball was nominated for an Emmy in 2017, but it lost to Bob the Builder, a fact that the creator tweeted about bitterly. One animator admitted that working on The Singing gave him tetanitis because of the endless loop of Darwin's high-pitched notes. Rocky's age varies depending on the source. In The Mystery, his age is stated to be 27, but on the official Japanese website, it says that he's 31. In The Loophole, Bobbert mentions System 32, referring to a special folder in the Windows operating system containing executables important to its normal functioning. In The Pizza, Gumball reveals that Laser Video is his favorite store. In The Uploads, Richard beats the hardest game in the world, Calculator. Gaylord Robinson, the Wattersons' neighbor, openly dislikes and tries to avoid their antics. The official Elmore map, used by the writers, never matches what's seen on screen, and this was on purpose to reflect cartoon logic. It's not clear exactly what kind of job Nicole does, though she is seen answering phones in the Rainbow Complaints office in the game. Margaret Robinson is easily the most evil character in the show. She's very similar to Mr. Robinson, except she never shows any real emotion or character development. Many fans think she's literally the devil herself. Frankie Watterson abandoned his family, leaving Richard to be raised by Granny JoJo alone. The episode The Signal contains a real error message from Adobe Animate, and this was left in intentionally. Gumball has over 49,000 fanfics across various sites, more than Gravity Falls and regular show combined. The phrase, "it's so dumb it's deep," became a meme among fans to describe episodes like The Job or The Loophole. There are over 300 characters in the show, but only 12 appear in more than 50 episodes. The shipping of Gumball x Darwin became so widespread online that it was explicitly mocked in the shippening. In a 2019 survey of Cartoon Network animators, Gumball was voted the hardest show to storyboard due to its surreal transitions. Fans discovered an alternate dub of The Responsible, where Gumball uses the F word. This was likely a glitch though on a foreign streaming service. The episode The End is often mistaken as the true finale of the series, but it aired midway through season 2, so it was just a red herring. The clown first appears in season 3 episode 10 titled The Procrastinators, and he is voiced by Mick Graves, who is also the show's director and executive producer, and this clown creepily shows up in the background of multiple episodes. But there's a theory that this clown is actually trying to kidnap Gumball and Darwin, but for some reason he can't. But before I tell you why, let me redirect your attention to that shiny subscribe button. You know you want to click it. Anyways, the reason is that us, the viewers, are watching him, so he doesn't want to get caught. The clown has no name and is never directly addressed by one in dialogue, adding to this creepy mystery. Despite his scary look, he's never physically harmed anyone. He just sticks to psychological fear. Many fans theorize that the clown may be a metaphor for anxiety or intrusive thoughts, due to his timing and presence. As I said earlier, the Watterson house is modeled after a real location in Vallejo, California, but the interior layout doesn't match the outside, which fans have debated for years. Richard might actually not be dumb. Let me explain. We all know that Richard is just seen as your typical cartoon dad, and this is because of his really messed up childhood, which includes a lot of things like his father abandoning him when he was just a young child, leading his mother to baby him so hard and force feed him to the point of dumbness. Richard was constantly bullied as a young kid by Tobias's father, and he was even tricked into believing that he was supposed to be the prom king. Him being a lonely child made it so that his only friend was the magic fridge where he kept all of his memories, which he had to learn to let go of when he got older. Nicole's anime sequence in The Fury was animated at 24 FPS, which is double the usual frame rate for the show, making it the smoothest sequence ever aired. Background characters like Jamie are sometimes rendered at lower resolutions during crowd shots to speed up rendering. Billy speaks with a British accent, being one of the few supporting characters in the show who do. Richard might actually be in crippling debt. And we find this out in the episode The Uncle, when Richard tries to buy 100 expired donuts with his credit card, but for some reason it gets declined. But thankfully, Larry lets him sign up for an in-store credit card. But the problem with this is that this card has insane interest. Anton is the character who has died the most times. I don't know exactly how many, but it has to be in the hundreds. In the society, Rocky reveals that his ATM number is 0380. His email password is RockyRockXXX, and his Elmore Plus password is Unbreakable. The design of Elmore Mall was actually inspired by the Maryhill Shopping Center located in Berkeley Hill, West Midlands, England. Nicole's voice actress, Teresa Gallagher, also voices Penny and Margaret Robinson, making her one of the most versatile voice actors in the show. In the Czech dub, Mr. Small's voice is far deeper and sounds like a cult leader. In the Brazilian dub of the singing, there's a completely different melody for Darwin's solo, due to the localization of rhyme schemes. One of Darwin's voice actors admitted he would record screaming lines by jumping into a pillow from across the room. Anaïs's French voice actress is a stage actor who performs Shakespeare. During the first season, Gumball seems to have trouble remembering Alan's name, calling him Adrian, Alfred, Andrew, Arthur, Alex, and so many other names. Gumball's Spanish dub features a more sarcastic tone, which fans believe makes him more unlikable than the original voice. Ocho's voice is pitched down electronically to make him sound more like a robot. Voice actors for Gumball occasionally receive fake scripts to prevent leaks. One fake script involved Gumball and Darwin becoming truckers, and honestly, I want this to be an episode now. That sounds awesome! Gumball was originally gonna be a cat named Bobby. In early concept art, he was a blue cat named Bobby who wore a red hoodie. In Turkey, the girlfriend was pulled from TV after conservative backlash over Darwin cross-dressing. In almost every photo shoot Alan appears in, his facial features look very realistic and human-like. However, in episodes such as The Storm, his pictures, especially with Carmen, show him with his usual appearance. The animators use Maya and Adobe After Effects for the show. 3D elements like Banana Joe's head and the Void were modeled in Maya and then composited with 2D layers. Dan Russell, the voice actor for Richard Watterson, also voices several other characters in the show, like Penny's dad, Dr. Butt, Coach Russo, Donut Cop, Egghead, and Tina Rex. The episode The Stories was accidentally uploaded to Cartoon Network's channel before the episode even released. It was taken down within 12 minutes though, so they got to it quick. The Refund was originally aired out of order, confusing viewers because it takes place before Gumball meets Rob. It's revealed in the photo that Alan anonymously donates all of his allowances to charity. He never tells anyone about it because he cares very much about the cause. It's revealed in The Storm that whatever Alan eats gets turned into literal air. Some dubs censor Darwin in a bathtub by adding bubbles over areas that were already PG. Every episode of season 6 features at least one glitch or reality break, foreshadowing the last episode of the season. There's a popular theory that Elmore exists in a post-apocalyptic world, and the characters are all mutated survivors. This theory even has its own wiki page. Fans notice that each family member represents a sitcom archetype. Gumball's the class clown, Darwin has a big heart, Nicole's the straight man, Richard's a fool, and Anaïs is the brains. When Alan's voice is pitched down, it sounds very similar to Tobias's voice, as they were both voiced by the same person. Some fans believe Mr. Small's a time traveler, because he never ages and knows about events before they happen. Principal Brown and Miss Simeon are implied to be teaching since the 1800s. This is hinted at in The Ape and The Legacy, suggesting that time is unstable in Elmore. There is an entire subreddit dedicated to mapping the layout of the Watterson house based on clues from different episodes. Rob is the only character who's aware he's in a cartoon for most of the series. His descent into the void awakened this awareness, leading to his obsession with fixing the world. A popular meme compares Gumball to BoJack Horseman, for how both shows balance humor and existential dread. Fans call it BoJack for Zoomers. The creators once joked that Richard Watterson is technically immortal, since he's been hit by trucks, exploded, and fallen off cliffs with no permanent change. A real Gumball video game was pitched in 2016, but it never got past concept art. Screenshots though showed a platformer involving the void. There's a theory that Gumball and Darwin live in a computer simulation. This theory almost makes too much sense to me, because we all know that in Elmore there's a mix of 2D characters, 3D characters, and so much more. And the vibes of the show remind me of an early 2000s computer game, which leads me to believe that the Amazing World of Gumball takes place in a computer simulation. translation. Anaise's real name is Anais Watterson, and Mr. Robinson's real name is Gaylord Robinson. Every episode title card in season 6 hides a visual glitch symbol somewhere in the design, referencing Rob tempering with reality. The animators once considered an episode where Gumball enters the real world and becomes a badly composited 2D character in real life. This is the most sus moment in the amazing world of Gumball. Richard's driver's license shows his birthday is February 31st, implying he's not even real in his own universe. There has been multiple anime references in the amazing world of Gumball. First is in the episode The Past, where Gumball goes Super Saiyan, which is from the anime Dragon Ball Z. Next is in The Lie, where Richard floats using Sky Moon Prism power, which is based off of Sailor Moon. And another one I found is in the episode The Choices, where Nicole Naruto runs. There's a lot more, but if I went over all them, I'd be here all day. In The Boss, it's shown that Rocky can surprisingly whistle with his butt. In The Butterfly, Rocky is shown hitting Allison with his quote weak arm, which happens to be his right arm. This may imply that Rocky is left-handed. In The Factory, it's revealed that there are 50 workers in the Rainbow Factory. There's a location called the Forest of Doom in Gumball. It's located in what appears to be a large park in Elmore. When viewed from far above the trees, it possesses an uncanny resemblance to a human skull. Miss Simeon's chalkboard often contains real Latin phrases, like Noil di Tengi, which means do not touch me, and Memento Mori, which means remember you will die. Unlike most stereotypical gym coaches, Coach Russo is overweight and unathletic. For example, while she was chasing Miss Simeon as a zombie in The Joy, she had to stop every few steps to catch her breath. Contrary to popular belief, Gumball can swim and dive just fine. His primitive cat instincts just make him sometimes believe that he can't. In Brazil, Banana Joe's name was changed to Joaquim Banana, a pun that accidentally matched a real politician's name. Sal Left Thumb's song in The Boredom reveals that he wanted to pursue a career in music, but he turned to a life of crime because he was rejected by the producers. Several episodes underwent title changes during production. For instance, The World was originally titled The Objects, and The Fraud was originally called The Phony. Gumball has 6 whiskers, but only 5 are visible due to the animation style. Granny JoJo has a lot in common with Sheila from South Park. For example, she's extremely overprotective towards her family, speaks in a New Jersey accent, and has trouble admitting when she's wrong. The episode The Nest reveals that Gumball's evil pet turtle is a female, a fact that was foreshadowed by her desire to reproduce in The Puppy. Granny JoJo has so much metal in her that she is legally classified as a motorized vehicle, and this is according to what she said in The Man. Despite Sal Left Thumb's dangerous nature, his preferred weapon for robbing is a simple old rusty spoon. In The Debt, it's shown that Mr. Robinson is a very good singer and dancer. This is also seen again in the episode The Singing. Larry's paycheck in The Finale shows he earns exactly $3.72 per job. No matter what it is, bro is literally working for pennies. In early concepts, Tobias was designed without lips, and his character underwent several changes before finalization. Storyboard artists were encouraged to add their own jokes and visual gags, leading to more of a collaborative creative process. Over the seasons, character designs were subtly refined to improve animation fluidity and expressiveness. Nicole calls Gumball the nickname Gummy Puss in the episode The Meddler. Nicole's fight stance in The Fury was modeled after Chun-Li from Street Fighter frame by frame. Gumball's whiskers are inset like his mother's, but they pop out like his father's when his girlfriend Penny tells him they need more space in the episode The Rose. Ocho's real name is Harry Tootmorsel. Gumball is the only male character in the show with big hips that stand out from the rest of his body. Mr. Robinson owns a pearl white 1964 Lincoln Continental, which appears in several episodes, but most notably in the car. The Amazing World of Gumball has a massive production team, with a staggering 100 people working on the show. All 3 of the Watterson kids are actually voiced by kids, which Ben thought added an interesting dynamic. Juke's name comes from the jukebox, which is a machine that plays and records music, which was somewhat common in the 1950s to 1970s. Jamie was originally designed to be a boy, but the crew thought a female bully dynamic would add more variety. Darwin's squeaky shoes were recorded by using a dog toy pressed repeatedly against a hardwood floor. Ben claims the biggest lesson he learned while making Gumball is that in order to really engage an audience, the show must represent its creator. The episode titled The End is Ben Bucklet's favorite. He claims despite seeing it a million times, the jokes still make him laugh. The show's creative team are all fanboys of the 1980s era, which is what unite all of them on this project. Gumball features various film references and nods to the 80s because of the major influence that had over the show. To be specific, it was Spielberg films, as well as other 80s Golden Age cinema titles, such as Back to the Future and Karate Kid. Anais' favorite toy is Daisy the donkey, and I don't think she's capable of living without her. The show's logo is pixelated on purpose as yet another nod to the 80s. Ben Bucklett wanted to give Gumball braces at one point, but the animators couldn't figure out how to make them look right in 2D. All of the Watersons actually became humans briefly in the episode The Nuisance, and they actually looked really weird, but the other human characters in the episode The Inquisition actually kinda looked fire. As the series progresses, Mr. Robinson becomes somewhat friendlier to Gumball and Darwin, with the exception of the season 4 episode The Sale. Mr. Robinson is one of the few characters from season 1 that never underwent a design change. The showrunners originally pitched a season 7 art where Rob merges with the Void and permanently becomes a godlike glitch, but Cartoon Network vetoed it. A running gag in several episodes is that whenever Coach attempts to whistle, she fails miserably and spews saliva at her students in the process. The animators use Google Street View to lay out several background neighborhoods in the show. Looney Tunes, South Park, and The Simpsons were credited as the biggest inspirations for Gumball. In 2010, the show started out as a storyboard-driven show, using photographs to start before jumping directly into the storyboarding process. But now, episodes are entirely scripted first, and then heavily developed during the storyboarding phase. The only thing that Mrs. Robinson ever says in the show is, meh. Mrs. Robinson's hair is much more gray than usual in the later seasons, indicating that her wig is either losing its color or that she's aging. Darwin's eyes were originally meant to be small and far apart, resembling a real goldfish, but the crew thought it was too unsettling. In addition to the storylines, most of the characters in the show were based off real people in Ben's life, and it's more than just his family that's featured in the cartoon. The Robinsons were his actual neighbors growing up. The show is noted for its proper storytelling, one of the many reasons why people who work on the show feel like it became such a huge success. The rainbow, often used in the show's design, is representative of the show itself, and how all of the characters in it are very diverse, yet all come together to create something beautiful. Director McGraves expressed his love for the more cinematic approach often displayed in the show. His favorite scene to work on was the car chase scene with Miss Simeon in season 1. The Gumball writing staff used tabletop writing to come up with the show's episodes. Basically, someone comes up with a funny idea, and the other writers would build off it and make suggestions until they have a really solid episode idea. Mr. Small's van is a real vehicle modeled in 3D, using photo from an actual Volkswagen used by a crew member. Nicole's high school outfit from The Choices was based off Ben Bucklett's sketchbook doodles from college. Despite being unathletic, Coach has somehow won 3 gold medals in trampolining. The fish tank Darwin came from in The Origins was based off a real fish tank in a Cartoon Network writer's office. The creator Ben Bucklett is 44 years old, and he's been doing animation ever since he was 12. According to the Gumball wiki, there are a ton of lost characters who were designed but never made. These include characters like Butthead, Worm, and Poop Guy. The writers confirm in an AMA that Richard canonically doesn't know how to spell his last name. Coach Russo won the 1986 Olympics in Elmore, but in actuality, there was no 1986 Olympics, meaning that Coach might have lied about her winning the Olympics, or they may have happened in the show's universe, I don't really know. Darwin treats his feet like private parts, because every time we see him in the show without shoes, his feet are censored. The Gumball team pitched an April Fool's episode where every character's voice was swapped with the wrong one, but ultimately Cartoon Network rejected it. Banana Joe's voice actor once voiced every character in a scratch track for The Banana, just to save him time. Season 4 introduced a whole host of new characters into the show. This played into one of the main storylines of the season, which is that Elmore has far more students than Gumball and Darwin ever realized. To come up with ideas for the show, the writers often reference their own childhoods for inspiration. In The Hug, it's revealed that Hot Dog Guy's name is actually Hot Dog Guy. Despite being somewhat prominent in the show, Molly does not have a bio on any Cartoon Network sites, unlike some of the other minor characters who have bios. That just really goes to show how irrelevant Molly is. Sarah replaced Molly in season 2, and Molly didn't reappear officially until The Void. It's It's revealed in The Flower that Leslie and Penny are cousins. Once the writers come up with a concept for an episode, they start working on fitting in gags wherever they can. It's the second most important step in the writing process, considering this is a comedy show. The episode, The Genius, has a long math equation on the board. It actually equals 42, and it's also a Hitchhiker's Guide reference. Ocho's glitch sprites are based on the NES Mega Man enemies, with the team having to tweak them just enough to avoid copyright. There were some rumors that in the past, Ben initially pitched the show to Adult Swim, but he confirmed this wasn't true on Twitter. But he did note that he would like to drop an idea on Adult Swim one day. Gumball was the very first show to be produced on Cartoon Network Studios Europe. The studio opened in 2007, and Gumball started production in 2009. The fact that the show has been on the air for so long amazes Ben Bucklet. He thought that it would last for at most 3 seasons. The puppets originally had a scrap joke where Gumball got trapped in a sock puppet and begs to be burned. Banana Joe's ringtone in season 4 is literally a fart. One of the lead people on the Gumball team, Sarah Fell, has her own character being based after her, Sarah Gelato, and Sarah even has her own nickname for the character. She refers to herself as the DOGG Scoop Dog. Mrs. Robinson has cheated on her husband twice, once in The Boss and once in The Slide. Since Jamie doesn't have any knees, she either waddles or kicks her legs when she walks. For some reason, it makes a goose stepping motion when she does. The web was meant to include a fake wiki called Elmorepedia, but CN Legal didn't clear it. Ben has mentioned that it's been hard to keep the quality of the show at such a high standard. He thinks it's important though to keep it so that the writers don't get bored. In the name, Gumball has an alter ego named Zach, and his evil laugh was made using a reversed audio file of a seagull scream. Despite his feelings for Miss Simeon, Principal Brown threatened to fire her if she kept framing Gumball and Darwin in the apology, and he even sent her back to the 8th grade at the end of the grades, after discovering that Miss Simeon cheated on him back in the day. According to an artist on the Gumball team, the character Louie has a back tattoo that says property of Granny JoJo, which is never visible in the show, and thank God for that, honestly. I don't want to see that. The type of cat Nicole takes after hasn't been confirmed in the show. However, it's possible that she's a tabby. In the episode The Job, when everyone turns into their live-action counterparts in the car, Nicole changes into an adorable tabby, which makes sense because blue cats don't even exist. It's proven that Mrs. Robinson is wearing a wig in the car when Gumball and Darwin hit it with a ball, causing it to fall off. Tobias's voice actor was told to channel a bro who's never read a book during casting. Contrary to common belief, Donut Cop is not a sheriff, and this is proven by the fact that a close-up of his badge reads Chief of Police, and that the other officers refer to him as Chief. The Donut Cop shares several similarities with Chief Wiggum from The Simpsons. For example, he appears to be incapable of working with the police due to his ignorance. His voice sounds similar to Wiggum, and he likes to eat donuts frequently. We all know that Nicole isn't the calmest character in the show, although she does go to anger management. Whether it's useful or not hasn't been decided. Tobias and Gumball weigh 180 pounds combined as shown in the Society. Nicole's anime mode eyes in The Fury were inspired by Kill la Kill, according to the lead animator. Most people who have never seen the show mistake Alan for a female, possibly because of her eyelashes, which are more common on female characters, and also because of his high voice, which is caused by helium. But Alan is actually a dude. In a fake Cartoon Network press release, one claimed a crossover between Gumball and Clarence. It was later revealed to be an elaborate April Fool's joke by a staffer. The Chinese dub of Gumball uses different music cues during fight scenes to emphasize comedy over action. There's a good amount of Gumball merch out there, but some McDonald's toys have Gumball wearing a red vest and shoes, which is very different from what he usually wears in the show. Bobber is one of the characters who were originally created by Ben Bucklet for old commercial pitches. In a scrapped plot line, Nicole was supposed to have a long-lost twin sister who was even more intense and competitive. According to the Gumball wiki, Sussy's species is Chinkin. Did you know that there was a whole sequence in The Weirdo that was entirely drawn by children? So if you ever think you can't do something, just remember that literal children have provided art for an internationally acclaimed cartoon. While the kids themselves didn't animate the entire sequence, the kids did draw all of the art that was used. Ben expressed that The Weirdo was supposed supposed to resonate with people who felt misunderstood. Darwin canonically cannot grow fingernails, which is why he slaps instead of punches. Tobias has become notably less popular with the other kids in the school as the series has progressed. Like most creators, Ben is hard on himself when it comes to Gumball. He feels like he fell short on season 1 because he wanted it to be 40 episodes, but it landed on a measly 36 episodes instead. To fix this, season 6 of Gumball got bumped up to 44 episodes. Baclette wanted to do this to make up for season 1 being 4 episodes short than every other season. The oldest character in all of Gumball easily has to be Miss Simeon, because she is over 300,000 years old. I don't think any other character even comes close to her in age. Sussie's eyes are always looking in different directions. This was a deliberate choice to make her always feel off. Clayton seems to suffer from mythomania, which is a behavior when the victim has the incapacity to talk about past events without nonsensical lies. The original pilot that was released in 2008 had a bunch of differences, like Gumball and Darwin's different designs. The show was originally planned to focus on Nicole, Gumball's mom, as the main protagonist. Concept was later reworked to focus more on Gumball and Darwin, but Nicole still remains one of the main characters in the series. An episode called The Rex was planned but never fully produced. It would have focused on Tina Rex's dad, a full-size T-Rex, who was supposed to be the most powerful being in Elmore. Tobias's design was inspired by 1980s workout videos. The leg warmers and sweatband were added as a joke, but were never removed. Originally, Penny's true form, a shape-shifting fairy, was supposed to be revealed as a curse, making it impossible for her and Gumball to be together, but the creators decided to change it into a positive transformation instead. The Elmore Junior High lockers are recycled 3D models from an abandoned Cartoon Network pilot project called Dr. Lollipop. Penny has a total of 8 unique transformations across the series. Banana Joe's mom, Barbara Banana, can actually paint pictures that see into the future, which builds a lot of lore that we haven't seen yet, like the Watterson family and the Void, and it even predicts events that happen at the end of season 6. Idaho canonically lives off the grid. His house doesn't appear on Elmore's map or in the city's power registry. A recurring gag in season 2 is Principal Brown having to stop his car, usually to make room for the Wattersons. This has occurred in The Remote, The Job, Christmas, and the internet. Gumball and Darwin weren't chosen to be a catfish duo by accident. Ben wanted to show off a dynamic that usually wouldn't work in real life. Richard's shirt size is Omega XXL. This was made up by the writers because nothing else fits. They really did my boy Richard dirty with that one. Ocho was almost named Pixel initially, but that name was already trademarked. Clayton is canonically banned from every Elmore sporting event due to turning into balls and cheating. Jamie was originally planned to be Penny's cousin, but this was dropped due to timeline confusion. November 1st is an important day in the Watterson family. It's none other than the anniversary of Richard and Nicole's wedding. The Watterson family either lives on a wrecking yard, or at least shares the same phone number as them, as seen on a missing poster and an ad for the yard in both the Elmore residence and the Elmore wrecking yard is 555-0199. Calling a whole household can be awkward, so if you want to get in contact with Anais, then shoot her an email. Her email address is anais.watterson@elmore.com. She must be pretty important to have an official email. The handheld game console that Richard gives Gumball, called the Game Child, is of course a play on the Game Boy. Surprisingly, the Game Child did exist in real life, and it was a knockoff of the famous Game Boy. Gumball's Game Child even has a knockoff game on it too. It's called Paradox of the Enemy Within, and the logo looks exactly like the one from Final Fantasy VII. Gumball is left-handed in early seasons, but switches hands depending on the animator. The only Elmore student with perfect attendance is Clayton. He shapeshifts into other students to boost his stats. Idaho's voice actor was chosen because his audition sounded like a homeschooled cowboy with anxiety. Carrie has the second most fourth wall breaks in the show, right behind Gumball. The creators of Gumball actually did a collab with Don't Hug Me I'm Scared in the episode called The Puppets. Puppet section in this episode took over 3 months to complete storyboarding, making the actual puppets and filming. That's over 3 months to make about 3 minutes worth of content. It's shown in The Burden. No matter how much hair Principal Brown waxes, it instantly grows back. Bobbert has transformed into Combat combat mode at least 5 times. In The Robot, The Club, The Apology, and also in Gumball and Darwin's Imagination, in the episodes The Law and The Stories. Carrie doesn't sleep. Ghosts in the Gumball universe enter a trance loop, which is referred to in her dialogue. Gumball might be a bit afraid of fans of the show. In the episode The Catfish, Gumball swears to never search himself up on the internet again. He still has flashbacks of the very sus fan art. We find out that Principal Brown's degree is actually fake in the episode The Fraud. Sussy blinks asynchronously. One eye blinks before the other by exactly 0.15 seconds. Idaho's design includes several different potato species blended together. The character sheet labels him as a spud mutt. The episode The News had a big change after it initially aired. The news anchor was an actual human being, but he was later changed to be a puppet. This change wasn't because of a demand from Cartoon Network. Instead, it was because everyone on the staff wasn't a fan of the live-action actor, except Ben McClett. Masami's mother is the CEO of Weather Corporation, and she controls Elmore's climate off-screen. Anais has the highest known IQ in Elmore, which actually comes out to 256, and this is revealed on the second half of her report card in the IQ. Did you know that Principal Brown actually has some hidden secrets? In the episode The Grade, he reveals that he's apparently being hunted by the FBI. Also, Principal Brown may be a furry, but let's not dive into that one. Well, it's never made clear. Darwin refers to his parents by Mr. Dad and Mrs. Mom respectively. It could be that he's unsure about how they're his parents because he was initially their pet. In the episode The Origins Part 2, Richard insists that Darwin call him Dad, since before that, Darwin always called him Mr. Watterson. Instead, Darwin calls him Mr. Dad and sticks with that throughout his life. No parent would ever admit who their favorite child is, unless that parent is Richard. While Darwin isn't the biological son of Richard and Nicole, he's still Richard's favorite child. In The Robot, Bobbert is shown to be emotionless, but in The Mystery, he laughs at Principal Brown falling down the stairs, wrapping himself up in toilet paper, and falling into Gumball's locker. Darwin is a pretty talented fish. Did you know that he can grow his legs back on a whim? I mean, Darwin did start out with no legs, or lungs even, so it does make sense that he should just be able to grow them back. Right? I don't know if it's that deep, it's just a cartoon. In the episode The Lady, the 4 ladies are actually just guys in Elmore cosplaying as ladies. And all of these are references to the 4 girls from the Golden Girls. Darwin has said in the show that he's bald and can't seem to grow hair. However, it's possible for him to grow leg hair, which, I mean, that has gotta be a first in fish biology. Nicole's angry voice is layered with tiger growls in post-production to make it more intense. Banana Joe failed kindergarten 3 times, not because he was dumb, but because he couldn't sit still. Richard can't read cursive. This is revealed when he tries to interpret a birthday card in the signature. Some of the animation staff work second jobs in Elmore. Character designer Raphael has his signature on the $100 bill as Elmore's treasurer. Mick Graves wasn't left out either. In the episode The Best, a picture of Mick Graves can be seen briefly on Gumball's computer. Graves can also be seen on a sculpture as well. In the episode The Nuisance, Gumball pees on a piece of artwork that is signed by none other than Mick Graves. The episode The Singing might be one of the most ambitious episodes to date with all of the musical references. The opening song, sung by multiple characters, is a direct reference to Disney's Frozen called In Summer. Richard's love for food knows no bounds, which is why he sings the song I Love All My Food Fried. The song is a parody of Always on My Mind by Brenda Lee. Even planets can get sad, especially when it comes to losing their status of being a planet. Pluto's song, The Hurt I Feel, is a parody of Adele's Hello. There are a ton of characters in Gumball, but what's the highest number to appear in one episode? Well, 50 characters show up in The Singing, giving every other character a run for its money. Oddly enough though, The Singing features almost every character except for 2. My boy Gumball and Darwin. The 2 main characters aren't even around. While Darwin has been absent from other episodes, this marks the first time Gumball didn't appear, breaking his streak of 186 episodes. Gumball's prominent hips might not even be hips at all. He's had such bad posture while sitting that it's affected his growth, and his hips are just the rest of his torso, which didn't stretch out. The newest voice actor for Gumball is Nicholas Cantu, and he's already been nominated for playing Gumball. He was chosen at the Annies for outstanding achievements in voice acting. Between Gumball and Darwin, there have been 9 actors that have played these characters. Yeah, you know, puberty will do that. Every episode title is only 2 words. The blank. The shortest episode titles are the G and the X, which tie for the shortest at 5 letters each. There are Gumball fans everywhere, even in the White House. Press Secretary Sarah Sanders tweeted a photo of herself with a turkey, and on the screen you can see the end credits of a Gumball episode. We can only wonder if the White House staff has ever seen the episode The Nuisance, in which the mayor of Elmore bears an uncanny resemblance to Donald Trump. Richard can only use his brain in the most direst of situations. In fact, when he uses it in any capacity, he undergoes a Hulk-like transformation. Banana Joe's peel color changes slightly depending on the time of day, which happens to be a subtle lighting detail. Potatoes in Elmore can be seen as food, but also people. It's a little disturbing, especially for Elmore's resident potato, Idaho. Speaking of potatoes, Idaho doesn't seem to care that Darwin has a massive potato craving. Darwin learned English by watching soap operas and singing karaoke with Gumball. How wholesome. And finally, for the last fact, only 3% of you guys are subscribed to Gumball Universe. What are you doing? Lock in! We're almost at 100K! Come on, subscribe. Please, please, please subscribe. Please, please.